The heat, the tension, the war is on. The Meet and I just put up a huge fight against the OnePlus Nord in the camera comparison, and now it's time to go against its main competitor, the Galaxy M51. Not gonna bore you with more talk, just subscribe and hit the bell icon and we'll get started. And guys, if you are looking to buy one of these phones because you couldn't afford a flagship phone, a simple advice: start investing. If you have no idea how, check out Groww app, which makes investments very simple. This video is brought to you by them, by the way. You can check the top mutual fund houses and their past performances. You can create wealth by just investing 5,000 rupees every month through SIP. There are over 5,000 mutual funds to invest in, and they've officially partnered with 40 plus AMCs. There are no agents or middlemen, which means zero commissions, which means you get higher returns. In case you've already invested in funds, you can import them here and track all your investments in one place. Getting started is easy. The entire process can be done online and it's 100% paperless. So go ahead, download the Groww app from the link in the description.
Investment in the securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read all scheme information documents or key information memorandum and other related documents carefully before investing. Past performance is not indicative of future returns.
Back to the video. So when the lighting is good, like outdoors on a well-lit day, in some scenarios, the images coming out of both the phones are pretty similar. Very mild differences, if any. Generally speaking, the M51 clicks more contrasty images. It's not too contrasty like how the OnePlus Nord clicks sometimes. I showed it in the previous camera comparison, but this one looks more balanced. Both cameras are really good when it comes to color reproduction. You can notice some level of oversaturation here and there, but that's completely fine. However, while clicking some close-up shots, the M51 goes for a cooler tone, so the images look very bluish, which is unrealistic. These phones also click equally sharp pictures for the most part, despite the fact that the Meet and I's default 12 megapixel resolution is much lower than the M51's 16 megapixels. Yeah, both phones actually have higher resolution sensors, but they use pixel binning. So the Meet and I combines every 9 pixels into one, and the M51 combines every 4 pixels into one. This is done for various benefits, but they do offer a dedicated high resolution mode as well if you want to click ultra sharp images. Let's compare them now. Actually, in terms of sharpness, surprisingly, there's no big difference. The M51's 64 megapixel images are almost as sharp as the 108 megapixel ones, which is amazing. The only noticeable difference is the dynamic range. Look at the sky. It's overexposed on the M51's image. So yeah, overall in good lighting conditions, both the cameras perform really well, but the Meet and I holds an edge. There is only one huge flaw or limitation here. The M51 sometimes overexposes the image too much. As in, you cannot see any detail in the brighter regions. Everything becomes white. This is because the M51 supports only auto HDR. You cannot enable HDR manually. I'm not sure, actually before one of the last few updates, I was able to turn on HDR manually, but right now it's not possible. I think they disabled it recently. So only if the phone recognizes that the scene requires HDR, it will be enabled automatically. Sometimes it didn't, so I had to wait for a few seconds and click the picture again. And in some cases, even after waiting, it did not trigger HDR, so the images turned out very bad. Here's another sample where the flaw is very evident. Not just the M51, even the Meet and I has some inconsistencies when it comes to HDR, but it happens only with the ultra-wide angle camera. For example, I shot both these images using the main cameras by just pointing and tapping on the shutter button. It's a nice landscape. I didn't tap on anything, and the results are fine. But when I switched to the ultra-wide camera, the Meet and I didn't click a good picture. I had to tap on the dark region and then re-click it. Reshoot it, whatever. I had to do that in many other situations as well. Also, the M51's ultra-wide camera has a wider field of view. It covers more of the scene. The dynamic range is also better in some challenging conditions like this. Both phones also have a third camera, the 2 megapixel macro camera. which doesn't perform well. The quality is average. It cannot even go that close to the subject. It gets blurred. So I feel using the main camera and cropping in will yield better results. Selfies are a bit hard to judge. Both phones have their own pros and cons. The M51 selfies have a wider field of view. It covers more of the scene, which definitely helps while clicking group selfies especially. On the other hand, the Meet and Eye gets the colors and the skin tones right. The M51 selfies are slightly pinkish. The Meet and Eye selfies are noticeably sharper too. Look at my t-shirt here. And I observed the same differences in portrait selfies too. Plus, the edge detection is better on the Meet and Eye's portrait. If you see closely, my mask is blurred on the M51's portraits. But again, on the other hand, the M51 supports HDR for portraits while the Meet and Eye doesn't. When it comes to rear camera portraits, once again, the Meet and Eye's edge detection seems superior. The exposure is inconsistent on both, but overall I prefer the Meet and Eye. Now on to low light. The M51 clicks slightly brighter as well as sharper photos. Look at the tree bark and the dustbin next to it. But when you turn on the night mode, they capture very similar looking images. But of course, night mode cannot be used all the time. It takes like 2 to 4 seconds to click a night mode picture. Regular photos, the M51 definitely retains more details. And when it comes to ultra-wide images, the M51 is clearly better. Considerably sharper results with better colors. You can also enable night mode for the ultra-wide cameras, and the M51 continues to impress. The M51 gets better low-light selfies with night mode enabled, but without night mode, for some reason, the selfies turn out very undersaturated. It happens in extremely dark scenarios only. When there is a bit of ambient light, the selfies are good. Both phones are capable of shooting 4K videos at 30 frames per second. The Meet and Eye doesn't support stabilization at this resolution. The M51 does, but it's not that stable. Still better than the Meet and Eye's footage though. But apart from that, everything else is done better by the Meet and Eye. The colors, the exposure, white balance, everything is better and also consistent throughout the video. You can see how the M51's video keeps jumping between different exposures or brightness in simple terms. The autofocus performance is also better on the Meet and Eye. The focusing is also smooth, unlike on the M51's footage. We can notice the same set of differences while shooting videos using the ultra-wide cameras too, except that the M51's footage is noticeably sharper here. Slow motion mode. Meet and Eye shoots at 1080p, M51 shoots at 720p, but still the results look similar, not very impressive. Both phones also have a super slow motion mode. The M51 can do 480 FPS while the Meet and Eye can do 960 FPS, even though a lot of interpolation is involved. Interpolation as in, it's a software trick to make a 240 or 480 FPS video look like 960 FPS. It's not actually 960 FPS. Forget all that. The quality is a lot better on the M51's footage. By the way, it's also possible to capture slow motion selfies on both phones. Nothing much to comment here. Hey guys, so this is part of the Meet and Eye versus Galaxy M51 camera test. This is a quick audio test. Let me know how the audio quality is. Maybe also comment on the video quality. It is pretty average from what I can see on the viewfinder because this is absolutely the worst lighting ever. I couldn't head out. It's actually 11 PM right now. There's no point heading out. It's very dark out there. So yeah, let me know in the comment section. And like I said in the previous camera comparison, the Meet and Eye has some really cool stuff on the camera app, like the clone mode, using which you can get some super cool shots like these. You can even make clone videos. and they look surprisingly accurate. There's also a vlog mode which helps you create a vlog style video clip instantly. And yeah, sky replacement is another cool feature. It can literally turn day to night. And the best part is, many of these options are not artificial at all. They look surprisingly realistic. So all these modes are very interesting to play around with, and I think we should give Xiaomi some points for that. So overall, I'm very confused. In good lighting conditions, the Mi 10i performed better. Maybe not better, but it was definitely more consistent. No big flaws or limitations. In low light, the M51 performed slightly better. The M51 also has a considerably better ultra-wide angle camera. It's better in almost all scenarios. It offers better video stabilization, but the video quality itself is not as good as the Mi 10i's. Similarly, the M51 gets wider selfies, but the Mi 10i gets better selfies. So I guess if this is some kind of competition, I would give it a tie. I would say don't worry too much about the camera performance. Have a look at the other aspects of the phone. You can watch the speed test here if you're interested. Or if camera performance is like very, very important to you, then think about your main requirements. If you click a lot of ultra-wide images, if you click a lot of photos at night and you prefer stable videos, then go for the M51. Or if you click a lot of selfies and you mainly use just the main camera in good lighting conditions, or if you like those cool software features like sky replacement, then go for the Mi 10i. That's it. You probably noticed how much effort went into the making of this video, so consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. Thanks for watching. Ashwin Sundar here from Technology Jog, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye.